Welcome back to Playing Voodoo. I'm your host Derek, and today will be a solo pod, and I will be covering Survivor 44 Episode 3 recap. Let's get straight to it. So, first off, I just want to say, if you have not already listened to our Survivor 44 draft, or if you've not been keeping up with the teams that we drafted, my team's not doing so hot. They are not doing well at all. So I lost Claire, who was my first draft pick. I actually took her number 2 overall. She went home this episode unanimously. And it sucks. It really sucks. I'll get more into it later on in this episode, talking about Soka and what went down. But speaking about the draft, I do want to note a few things. So Alex and myself, we made a trade prior to this episode. I now have Heidi on my team, and I traded away a 4th round draft pick in the Survivor 46 draft. So that's going to be a few seasons out from now. Alex will have an additional pick. Could be a returnee season. So Alex is stockpiling on picks for that season. And then additionally, Martin and Alex made a trade in which Alex is trading away Josh, his 1st round pick, for I believe he's trading Josh for a 5th round pick in the 46 draft for Martin. So now Alex, all he has left on his current draft from what we did for 44 is Jamie, Matthew, and Brandon, I believe. He has 3 people left as he lost Helen on episode 2 to that vote out, and now he's traded away both Josh and Heidi. So Alex is going to be a big fan of the Ratu tribe moving forward, it seems like. And now I have Heidi. I did lose Claire, so my team is composed of Kane, Lauren, Franny, and Heidi. Those are the 4 people I have. And then the remaining cast, Martin has. He has all of the Tika tribe, which is Carolyn, Yam Yam, Carson, and Sarah. He also now has Josh and Danny. And then and he has Matt on that tribe. And on the Ratu tribe, does he have anybody? He doesn't have anybody on Ratu. It's just Alex and I. So yeah, seems like Martin's going to be pulling away here. But that's just the draft talk. Had to update you guys on our current positions, where we are at before we get into this episode. Don't know if you're interested, but for just keeping it consistent, just wanted to throw that out there. So let's get straight into this episode. Ratu, Tika, there's honestly not much to talk about. So Tika, they returned to camp. I was wrong. I thought maybe Carson had looped in Sarah onto the vote out of Helen, knowing that Sarah didn't have her vote. It was pretty known she didn't have her vote. But no, that did not happen. Sarah was blindsided, left out of it. And we'll see how this tribe maneuvers moving forward. They obviously want to make it to the merge without losing another person. Sarah doesn't see that happening and has to trust Carson because she doesn't have as much trust with Yam Yam or Carolyn. So she's in a very precarious situation. She does have her inheritance advantage that she could maybe use to her benefit, but she might not be able to get to a point of the game in which she'll be able to use that. So yeah, she's in a precarious position. We'll see. Carson wants to play more reckless now. It seems he likes the side of playing with Yam Yam and Carolyn. I'm not really sure what to make of that tribe moving forward, but a tribe that I've changed my perspective on quite a bit is the Ratu tribe. Yes, they have some camaraderie now. We saw Kane singing, I believe it was the Canadian national anthem, and yeah, he had a fun episode there, doing some LARPing with the sword, which was the immunity idol for the tribe. And yeah, it's pretty fun. We got to see a little more Brandon. We've seen this episode after episode, it feels like, with him saying he does a lot. I mean, he's obviously a former NFL player, but he's a chef. He does magic. He flies planes, stuff like that. Very much like Debbie that we saw from Survivor 32, which was Brain versus Brawn versus Beauty. And she also played on 34, Game Changers. But I believe Brandon. I did not believe anything that Debbie said. And yeah, Brandon's very honest and truthful. Jack of all trades, as he calls himself. And yeah, that tribe's looking quite strong now. We'll see. We saw on the challenge today, they dominated. And I even saw on Twitter, Jamie looks like she practiced this challenge leading into playing Survivor. I don't know how long ago she's been practicing or if she started practicing when she got casted. But very impressive nonetheless. That's not an easy puzzle. But it was solved. You have to get a different color on each side, all 4 sides. And they did it. And we also saw, speaking of Jamie, back at the Ratu camp, she found a hidden immunity idol. Or she believes she did. Yes. So Jamie found a fake idol that was planted by Matthew. So Matthew, we saw a flashback. He found the hidden immunity idol a few days earlier, probably soon after, maybe the day after Brandon had played his idol on the first episode. So yeah, the Ratu tribe it's something right now. Matthew's playing hard. He's playing very, very hard. Because what we have to date is him playing a shot in the dark to leverage Brandon to play his idol, but also keeping Brandon in the game. And now planting a fake idol against Jamie. I think he intentionally led Jamie to the well. I don't know, but I would think that he did in this case want Jamie to find it rather than someone else. Now, does he still want to work with Jamie? That's to be seen. He said it in his confessional. He's either gonna use it to work with her to build trust, or use it against her as leverage that she found an idol. Tell people that, hey, she has something. That tribe's very interesting. The dynamics of it, but like I said, it's more cohesive now. That first tribal council was dynamic and seems like there was not a lot of trust or bonding going on, but now we've seen, at least this episode, that it's going good now. On the other hand, a tribe that I thought would stay strong until the merge, or would be the majority leading to the merge, the Soka tribe, I still think is quite strong, but they didn't do it this challenge. They did not do it, couldn't do it, and they had to sit out 2 people from the challenge, and it seems like Claire didn't volunteer to sit out, but rather said, I want to sit out. And it led to her downfall. Yes, Claire was sent home this episode with a 4-0 vote, being that she played her shot in the dark to try to save herself. I don't understand really why he's sitting out of challenges. But more so, saying, like at Tribal Council, I have it noted here, she said something about saying, yeah, she was upset when they got back to camp that she sat out. And then she was complaining at Tribal Council that her tribe didn't give her a chance to compete. It didn't seem like that, to be honest. It really seemed like she chose to sit out. If she wanted to compete, she would have. And that's ultimately what led to her downfall. But we really got to see who's working with who in this tribe, this Soka tribe. So we have Franny and Matt, most leading up to the challenge to win immunity. It seems like the other 4 are working against those 2 because those 2 will not separate. Yes, they will not separate from each other. Very clear power duo. Not even just like a duo that's working together, but a duo that likes each other. So a duo that's not going to break up. Yeah, they're going to keep each other in the game as long as they can. So it made sense for the other 4 to work against that. But that's not what happened. That's not what we're seeing. And we even see Danny earlier in the episode, probably the star of the episode, Danny. Back-to-back weeks, I would say. He's really owning what's going on. He is he's kind of like Tony out there. He's doesn't have to replace the fake idol midday in the birdcage, but does so anyways, kind of crawling and running a bit to do so, but puts the fake idol, which is the coin, back into the birdcage with the note saying that it's the real immunity idol, but we all know it is not the real immunity idol. And he even eats the parchment about the fake idol so that there isn't a trace of evidence left. That's quite funny. And I just really enjoy what Danny's doing out there. And there's an idol hunt that goes on within the Soka tribe. We see no one can find it. Yeah, no one can find it. I believe Danny even makes it a little more visible so someone can find it. Matt ends up finding it. Probably the one person that needs it the most, considering he doesn't have 2 votes for his next 2 tribals. Now, he survived this one, and he does think it's a real idol. It's 2 idols found this episode that people think are real, but they are not. Wild times. And yeah, Danny pulls it off successfully. And he even confronts Matt, saying, hey, I saw you put something in your pocket, in front of Josh. Matt denies it. Ends up owning up to it to pretty much everyone knows at that point. Josh, Danny knows. Matt tells Franny. Danny tells Heidi, and so on. Claire. Everyone knows Matt has an idol, presumptively, but it is fake. And I think that idol worked to Danny's advantage this episode, because the plan was to get rid of Matt or Franny, but people did not want to go against that idol that gave them strength. So that left a few options. Either Claire or Josh, from what it seemed like. And I was very impressed with Franny this episode. It seemed like I just said, her or Matt should have been on the chopping block. They've pretty much been leading up to it that those 2 are in danger. Yet, when it came down to it, neither of their names were mentioned as a target to go home this episode. It was either Claire or Josh. And it was just really fascinating to see how it went down. We got to know more about Heidi this episode, my new person on my team. She said Danny's her number 1. I mean, Danny's playing well then if he has a number 1. I'm not sure if Danny feels the same way. I'd like to hear some insight from him. But yeah, we see her. Danny wants Claire gone, so Heidi goes with it. And we might have a trio moving forward with Heidi, Danny, and Josh, possibly taking out the duo of Matt and Franny. That would make sense from that standpoint. So we will see. But yeah, it was a fun episode. We see 2 idols that were found to believe to be real idols. They are not. They are fake idols. Fun. Very, very fun. It's going to fall back on someone's face. And it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting to see. Hope you enjoyed this episode. I guess before I do that, I'll get into my superlatives. I'll do it very quickly. Best move of the episode, Danny hiding the idol back in the birdcage. Easy, easy, easy. Worst move of the episode has to be Claire not completing the challenge. She might be the only Survivor player to have her team compete in 3 challenges, sit out all 3, never compete, and go home. Might be a first, considering the injury to Bruce that led to that situation. And next boot. So I don't know who's going to go to Tribal. Obviously, Tika is probably the weakest, so I guess I'd have to say Sarah is probably next to go. But it all depends on what happens. It seems like we see 3 new castaways go to the island to get more advantages. So we'll see how it happens there. But otherwise, with the information we have at hand currently, I have to go with Sarah as my next boot. That wraps up the episode recap for Survivor 44, Episode 3. If you like what you heard, please follow us and subscribe wherever you're listening, whether that be Spotify or YouTube. Really appreciate it. Follow us on Twitter at PlanVoodooPod if you want to catch our episodes. We post them there as we publish them. So yeah, really hope you enjoyed. This is Plan Voodoo, where split vote is not safe.